Welcome everyone to the Pat Mayse Lake Breakdown provided by Simplistic Fishing. This is Tyler O'Connor, your host. I'll be going through the lake breakdown this afternoon or this evening, whatever time it is for you, but we're going to go ahead and go down through this. Now, anytime we start on a lake breakdown, the first thing we do is we go out to the Texas Park and Wildlife fishing page, if it's a Texas lake, and we look at just the characteristics that are out there. Texas Park and Wildlife does a great job of explaining a lot of things out there. So let's take a look at this one. It's in Lamar County, 12 miles north of Paris on Sanders Creek, which is a tributary of the Red River. The surface area of this lake is 5,940 acres, so it's pretty small. Maximum depth is 55 feet, so decent depth down by the dam probably. And then it was impounded in 1967. You can look at the current lake levels here. Fluctuation is moderate, 2 to 4 feet. You're going to see when we get onto Google Earth, I think it was back in 2015 is when we got the best image here to be able to see stuff. This lake was pretty tricky from a Google Earth side. Some pretty good stuff offshore, though, I think that you're going to like. So some options here, definitely. But moderate 2 to 4 feet fluctuation. It's moderately stained, so pretty good watercolor for largemouth fishing. Now, if you look at the aquatic vegetation, abundant vegetation in the form of giant bulrush, cut grass, and American lotus, and it can be found along the shore of the reservoir. There are small amounts of coontail and hydrilla that are present. I will say that when we go through this breakdown, I've actually pointed out the bulrush, but what I've noticed is that when you draw that back and you go to say like the wintertime, the bulrush is almost gone. So I think it's going to be more of a seasonal type thing of when that bulrush is going to really show up and be in play. Looking on down here, we got predominant fish species: white bass, largemouth bass, and spotted bass, crappie, and catfish. If we look at lake records, that's always fun to go out and check that out. Look at the largemouth bass, pretty giant bass, 14-pounder. 27 inches in length. It was caught back in 1994. So definitely probably some big fish in this lake. We look down here, angling opportunities. Largemouth bass are popular in this reservoir. It says spotted bass provide additional action, but they don't get very big. Also talks about white bass that are in here, channel and flathead catfish and crappie. If we look down at the species, largemouth bass is set to be fair. Spotted bass is fair. And then catfish, crappie, and white bass are all good. And then going down just a little bit more before we hop over and we talk about the Google Earth stuff is fishing cover and structure. It says the upper third of Pat Mayse Lake upstream from the Lamar Point is heavily timbered with numerous coves and cuts which provide excellent habitat for the largemouth bass, crappie, and catfish. Many of these coves also have margins of submerged and emergent vegetation. Riprap on the dam also provides opportunities for all species throughout the year. So pretty cool stuff. So now let's go ahead. I looked at tip and tactics. It kind of just talks about just basically fishing during the peak times for bass fishing. Didn't really give us any good information. So let's switch over now and let's go and look at this thing from the Google Earth side. I'll show you guys what I found. If we have time, we'll switch over and I'll show you the Navionics side of the offshore. If not, we'll do a second video and we'll just talk about the offshore stuff. So let's switch over and let's look at it. Well, now that we've gone in and we've looked at the Texas Park and Wildlife page and we've found out about this lake, it's time to jump into Google Earth and see what we could find from the satellite imaging side. So just real quick, a quick plug for Simplistic Fishing. If you see a state out here, you need to go check them out. Like if you're not from Texas, maybe you're from Alabama or from Tennessee, we have broken down lakes all across the United States now. So definitely go check us out. And if you're from Texas, like we are, we've got pretty much every lake in Texas already broken down for you. So go out, check it out, simplisticfishing.com on the website. That'll give you the files that you need or the SD card, whichever way you want to go. So let's go ahead and jump in here to Pat Mayse. And I am going to double click this. It's going to zoom us in. Now, unfortunately, the imagery for 2024 is not very good. You can see here there was cloud cover apparently when they did it, and so we don't get a lot of good imagery from 2024. So we've got to draw this back and really get it down to an image that's good. So I'll show you guys that in a second. But before we do that, let's look over here on the left-hand side. And I want to show you how I have this broken down because I was really struggling on whether or not to mark this stuff that I believe is called bulrush. It's real heavy vegetation, stuff that bass really like to get into. I was hesitant to mark it because there's times when it's just not growing. So it almost looks like it's not there, but it's definitely there because you can see it year after year on the satellite imagery. But anyways, I've got it out there for you, but I do want to warn you, it depends on the time of year that you're out there, whether or not you're really going to see much there or not. You might just see basically the stumps that are from them, or basically just the residue that's from them from them being there before they get into to growth again. So I've got those marked. So pretty much all the different areas, and we talked about that on the Texas Park and Wildlife about there being some significant areas of that, and there are, and they're all over the lake here. So let me draw this image back so that those clouds will quit messing with us. I mean, you got to go pretty far back, 2021. So let's go back to 2021, and now you can kind of see the different key areas where those are. And we're going to go all the way through this lake, so don't worry. You don't have to take a screenshot real quick and make sure you know where all these are. Plus, when you go out on the lake, I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty obvious to you where they are, but it's a whole lot nicer to know exactly where to go as opposed to having to run down the lake and figure it out. All right, so we've got all of that. We've also got the channels marked. So you can see here these green tracks. These are tracks that we marked when we pull the water down. You'll see where we marked the creek channels. So these could come into play here. Not sure if they'll come into play, just based on where they are. This one looks kind of difficult to get back into. There's a lot of trees and stuff like there. So I'm not sure if that comes into play on this lake or not. Never fished this one, but we definitely have some creek channels up here, a couple here, and some more over here to the right. Now, as far as cover goes, not a ton of cover on this lake, especially, at least from what I could find from the satellite side. Now, that bulrush stuff and that, vegetation right on the bank line, there's a ton of that. But as far as like when the lake was pulled down and you really looked at the bottom of the lake, say 5-10 feet off the bank line, there wasn't a lot there. But what was there, we went ahead and marked. So I've got several areas where I called it debris, but I think you'll notice they look like a bunch of stumps and things. I believe that's what they are, but I called them debris because I didn't want you to get confused with the bulrush stuff and all that good stuff. So I went ahead and just called it debris. We also have a couple laydowns that we found out there. And that's really it when it comes to the cover. And then there's this pretty cool point I want to show you guys. Now, we have a lot of different offshore stuff that's out here. The trick with this is when you load it into Google Earth after you make them and you load them in here so I can show them to you, it has to be brought back to the date that I actually created the offshore hotspots, which was very recently. So that's why we're back to 2024. So if I double click this, you'll see them all start to come in. And these are the different offshore hotspots that we've marked for this lake. Now, this could be humps. It could be points. It could be something based on the breaks. It might be a little ledge or something like that. And we're going to talk about that either on this video or on the next video. We'll go in and we'll use the Navionics mobile app and we'll look at the contours of this lake to really try to figure out some good offshore spots for you guys. Now, we've also got ramps. There's not a ton of them out there, but a few of them out there. Typically I would say, try the ramp pattern. It could be good. This one might be a little bit tricky because it doesn't have a lot of off, one-off ramps. A lot of them are public ramps, but you could definitely fish around them. I guarantee there's going to be fish close to them because one, that's about the only area in this lake where there's rock, either by the dam or by these ramps, and that's about it. There was one little section, I think, where we found some rock, and that was about it. So speaking of rock, this is the different areas where we found the rock. Like I said, up by the dam, there's a little bit here and a little bit here, and then really there's some by those ramps too as you look at them. So I'm going to select all of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide this side. So I'm going to take off the sidebar so we can see the whole lake here. And then I'm going to draw the water back. I know that there's a creek way back here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go there and we're going to just keep drawing the year back until we can really see this creek channel. You can tell that I was able to see it way up here. So now we've got to get back to that timeline when I can see it. You can see the lake's getting down. 2019 is pretty down here. It's pretty far down, but I think we can do a little bit better. In fact, I know we can. So I'm going to take us back to 2014, and that's when the water was really the lowest. I don't know if it's 2014, 2013, somewhere in that time frame, but it shows November of 2014 here. So there's your creek channel that we talked about. And now let's go back, start at the dam, because if I don't, I'll get confused. We're going to start at the dam and just work our way down. So here we got the riprap. These are the different areas where I was talking to you about the bulrush being there. It gets tricky again because the imagery on Google Earth is really not that great in here. But if I draw this back up to say 2015, now you can really see where that stuff is growing. And this is just really good stuff to flip around, all kinds of good stuff. And then out here, you're like, well, what in the world? He's got debris marked, but how, why would you think there's debris there? It's because this This bulrush stuff only shows up in 2015. If I take it back to 2014, this was probably either due to the drought that was in 2014, that stuff wasn't able to really get growing, or this could just be, we're getting late into the wintertime and it's starting to pull back. But here is the debris that I was telling you about. I think these are stumps. Not sure what they are, but the fact that you've got some cover here that's off of a point, I think, really means, you should probably definitely go check it out. All right, so let's go back to 2015. Let's keep moving down here. Again, not a lot on these shorelines, not a lot going on here. Then when you get down here, you finally find some rock. This is one of the few areas. In fact, it might be the only area other than the dam. Well, there's another one that's south of here too that's got a little bit of rock that I was able to find. And that's about it. Now, there is rock around these ramps. There's some debris that's out here too, like around this bulrush or whatever this is. Hopefully that's what it's called. But if I draw this back to 2014, you're going to see there's some debris out here. I don't know what it is, but you can tell there's maybe some laydowns or old foundation or just junk that people have thrown out there. There's no telling what's out there, but check that out. And maybe even come out here. Notice how this makes a little point. Looks like there's something right off the edge of that, but that could be nothing. Like I thought this might be something here, and it was absolutely nothing. So let's go back to 2015. We're going to keep going up. And I'm just searching around. Here I like this. You got the bulrush that's in here, which you can fish. I like how you find a little bit deeper in here. And then, of course, here it says we have some debris. So if I draw that back to 2014, now you'll see the debris that I'm talking about. And again, it looks like little stumps or something, but just enough cover to get some fish attracted to it. And the fact that that's a main lake point, that's going to make it good as well. So then let's keep moving up here, see what else we can find. More of that bulrush stuff, more of it here as well. We do have some debris that's over here off this point. It's really, again, it's more, I think it's just roots and stumps and stuff like that. But right in here, this can be a really good place from almost an offshore standpoint, right? You're not going to be casting at the bank. You're going to be staying a little bit further off. Remember, the water's way down here. So if we bring the water back up to where it's supposed to be, the debris is completely underwater. Those stumps are completely underwater, but they're right off the edge of that point. All right, so let's go back to 2014 again, draw that water down. Here's some more of that bulrush. Some more stumps here. I didn't mark it. I'm not sure why I didn't mark it, but fishing these stumps, this could be an offshore spot, which might be why I didn't mark it, because I didn't want to put double marks there. But fish around here, find this stuff and fish, jigs and stuff like that, shaky heads around that kind of stuff. They love to sit around that kind of stuff. All right, then you've got some bulrush here, which in this picture, you can't tell. You can kind of see there was a little bit there, but now if I prop that up, you're going to see that it's got pretty good growth here during that time. Now, another thing to check out too is as you go over here off of this point, is getting out here and checking out these stumps that are out here as well. So I'm not sure what they are. And again, I probably marked this as an offshore spot, but you definitely want to go look right around in this area. I mean, you're going to get hung up in that kind of stuff, but just throw your jigs out there and just really work them. Work them through all those stumps and those roots and all of that stuff. Now, this image here is totally, totally deceiving. But the good news is I've seen it before, so I'm not falling for it this time. There was an image that looked like this on Cedar Creek Reservoir, and I thought it was a massive brush pile that we had uncovered. But I don't think that's what we're seeing. I think it's just kind of messing with our eyes, and there's really nothing there. But what is there is there's a hump there. So go check out that hump. Maybe there is brush there, and someone's like, you idiot, that really is brush. But the one that I saw that looked like that on Cedar Creek was not a brush pile that looks like a brush pile. It almost looks like you got trees there, maybe an opening, some more trees and laydowns in there. It's possible. So if you go out here, just scan this area, see what it is. It's a hump for sure. So definitely go check it out. All right. Then coming up here, we've got a ramp. We got some more of that bulrush going on there. You're going to see a lot of that. So I'm just going to skip over it. So we don't really get, too caught up in it because they're all pointed out. But if I go to 2015, you'll just be able to see what I marked. So you can see, I like these little isolated areas, right here off the point. Now, I guess, yes, there's some of that stuff all over the place, but I'm looking for more of the isolated stuff. Like right here is a little isolated. Right here off this point again. This area here looks very isolated right off this point. It's just a little bit different than everything else. It's a little thicker back in here. These little cut-ins could be good. You've got this point out here. Again, another point here. There could be some sort of a channel through here somewhere. I don't see too many creeks, but possibly right in there. That just looks a lot thicker in there. Pretty thick right in here. There's some debris here. Let's go back 2014. Check out and see what that is. I think that's more of those stumps. Yeah, more of those little stumps and things like that you can check out. Again, you can see the imagery here is horrible. More bulrush stuff. Take a look at more in there. More back there. Here's the ramp. There's actually no rock around this ramp, so that might not even be worth fishing. Get down in here, though. Here's where, I'm seeing junk in the water, and I can't tell what it is. Again, it could just be stumps and things like that or old root systems, but it's all along the outside of this point. So if I pull this back and show you where I'm at, I'm right here off of this point right here, right? Let's see, it would be west. No, not west. East of the Northeast Texas boat rental. So right over here. All right, so we're going to move up here and the Pat Mayse West Campground. That's actually where I'm at. So I'm going to come over here. We got the ramp here. We got a creek channel back in here. This is pretty nice. So we got that there. And then as we move on up, we've got another offshore spot that's here. That one's not showing up because I didn't see it on Navionics, but I can definitely tell that there's something going on there on Google Earth. So I marked it here, but that's why it's not showing up with the other ones. We've got more debris that's out here, more of those stumps. Up here, this looks interesting. You've got a creek channel that's kind of hidden underneath all this stuff. But it definitely makes a big turn right here. And it makes a really sharp turn right here. You can see almost the ledge that it's creating. And then it makes a big swing. It comes out here and it swings back over here. And you've got this high spot in here as well that's got a lot of debris, a lot of stumps, a lot of junk like that. It just looks like a really good spot, pre-spawn, post-spawn kind of area to take a look at. We're going to come back here. I don't think there's too much going on back on that backside. This is where it gets really, really hairy. You do have a ramp back here. I was looking at this, though. It's got to be for like duck boats and stuff, because if you had a bass boat, I don't think I'd be launching right in here. It looks very, very hairy. Got some bulrush and stuff that's back here, but again, this might be really tight to try to get back in here. Maybe we can get Tom to make us some lanes for this lake. That would be cool. All right, so let's keep moving up. More of the bulrush stuff. It actually looks a lot better when I bring you to a good image that, to show you what that growth is like, because it's pretty healthy and it's pretty good. There's one image in here that looked really awesome, but I like this little cut in here. Still not getting the image that I want. I like that little cut in that's right there for sure. You can see here there's like a little ditch or something like that going on there, but then you got all that bulrush and stuff there too. So pretty cool little area there. I didn't even notice this out here, but you got a couple humps out here. Let's see if there's anything on them. Absolutely nothing on them. Some birds on that one. So not much going on. Maybe go check those humps out just to, keep them honest. We're right on Lamar Point Campground. We've got a boat ramp here. This one actually does have some rock around it. So maybe fishing around there. Says there's a lay down here. You don't see it in 2014, but now when you go to 2015, someone threw like a tree out there or something. They threw something out here as well. So maybe checking those out. We got a little slab there. Looks like that I missed. You could try that. Doesn't look like there's any rock around it, but maybe if that slab goes out a little further, it doesn't look like it does. You could take advantage of it. And then you got a little growth that coming out here. A lot of growth of that bulrush stuff, all starting basically here all the way over to this side. Then we're going to move on up. Got the same thing, just some isolated little areas of that bulrush stuff. Come down here, we got the same thing, a nice little rounded point of that stuff, and it's just kind of hidden in here. I like it. I like it. It's different. Also right here, this is a lot thicker. I don't know if this is bulrush or if that's actually like, flooded willow bushes or something like that. I can't tell what it is, but it's definitely something that I would fish around. And I like these little areas, right? Like this little point that's here, that little rounded point there, make a little cut in. I like that. I like this little point that's here. You can tell there's some debris or something underneath it. It could be nothing, but definitely makes a nice little point here. So you got this flat, everything's flat. And then all of a sudden it just rounds out to this point. So checking out right in there. All right, then we're going to move on up. We got more bulrushes pretty much everywhere all around in here, but you do have a little creek channel that's back here. You can see it right here. This one's got some stumps too, I believe. I pulled that back to 2014. You got some pretty good growth back there. A decent little creek channel, but look at all those stumps that are in here. So you're going to have to be really, really careful. You got another channel or a ditch that came here. I kind of lost it. There's some creek. I think it's right here. The creek comes out and I can't figure it out. It almost looks like it takes a hard turn here, but then you got all this growth that's right there too. So I can't tell if that's what it is, but it looked like it takes this hard turn here and runs up against this bank line. It doesn't look like it pushes out there. But I couldn't find it. What I could find was the channel that actually makes right through here. So here's another little channel here. Could be a little one of those little secret spots. Got all that bull rush that's in there as well. More here, more bull rush, more stumps and stuff. Now here it says, I've got nothing. But then I move that up to 2015 and you'll see there's some growth and stuff like that going on. Or maybe someone threw a little tree out there, or there was a lay down or something happened there. But there's some kind of debris off the edge of that point. A lot more of that bull rush stuff that's right in through here. Another creek channel that's back here as well. I'll show you guys this one. Take that to 2014. You can see pretty good growth back there. Decent little creek channel. Then we're going to move up, see what else. More of the bull rush stuff. Some more debris that's out here. I guarantee this is probably more of those stumps, but let's draw that back. Actually, I kind of like this spot. So let me show you guys where I'm at again. Here's the dam. I'm going to go right here. It's just, I don't know if this is a power plant or what, utility thing or what, but definitely, I don't know if you can fish back in here either. Now that I saw what that is, there might be buoys that don't say you can't fish back there, but there's a little bit of rock here, a little bit of rock here. But I really wanted to show you this right here. So it's a little underwater point that comes out. It looks like it's got some stumps and stuff like that on it. So that could be a pretty cool little spot to go check out. I could see that definitely having some fish around it. Some more laydowns through here. Did want you to check this just because it's another one of those spots where you notice the point just kind of extends out all by itself. And there could be some debris and stuff like that on the edge of that where I can't see. I can see a little dot there, but I don't know if there could be more. So that looks like a good point. It looks like a good pre-spawn, post-spawn point too, with them going back into there. Some more brush. We come down over here. We're over by Elk's campground. I'm going to pull this back into here. We got the ramp that's there. Now this ramp, hardly any rock. Again, there was an image. I don't know if I can find it, but there was some brush right underneath this little dock right here. I don't know if they had thrown down some Christmas trees or whatever it was, but one of these images, I could see it, and then I haven't been able to find it since then. But I thought it was around 2014, but I know that I saw it. So definitely check out that little spot right there. All right, going on up, we got more of that bull rush. Got a couple laydowns back in here as well. Don't think I found too much back in here. There's a little creek channel back here. But again, every time we find the creek channels, we find tons of trees. So you have to be careful going back in there for sure. More of that bull rush in here. Here's one of those another little interesting point you may want to check out. Anytime you get them jetting out like that, and they're the longest ones out there in the whole thing, just check it, just scan it, see if there's any life there. If there is, definitely go fish it. More of the bull rush there. More another ramp that's up here. This one's actually got quite a bit of rock around it. Now, if the lake was up, you may be able to get up in here and fish this riprap. But I didn't mark it because I can't really tell if the lake gets up high enough to bring that in play. It still looks pretty dang shallow even there, and you can tell that dock's having to be extended pretty far out there. So I don't know if it'll come into play or not, but it is there. You've got to lay down there, more of the bull rush. We get up here, this not too sure what this was at first. I was like, what in the heck is this? Well, then I realized, oh, this is a boat ramp. So a really good sized boat ramp here. If there's no activity on it, and it looks like this, I would go ahead and fish around that as well. See if you can find anything hanging out there. A couple laydowns back here, more bull rush, and then we're all the way back to the dam. So that really covers us for Pat Mayse Lake from the Google Earth side. Now what we need to do is we need to switch over and do the Navionics side for Pat Mayse. And since we're out of time for today, it means I'll be back in a few weeks to talk to you guys about the offshore hotspots and put this all together. So please make sure to go out, check out our website, simplisticfishing.com. Not only do we have Pat Mayse broken down, but we've got hundreds of other lakes broken down in Texas. And I believe we're up to 200, 300 lakes, something like that, between 200 and 300 lakes now out on simplisticfishing.com. So until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.